With the recent TCG boom, there has been an explosion of sellers, on your own website, making your own website, on eBay, on tcgplayer, just a ton of people getting into the hobby and really trying to make it work. And honestly, that's very respectable. I am technically one of those people. I started in early November of last year, and we've done as a company over $20,000 in sales easily. We have 1.6K reviews or sales on TCG Player, and over $13,000 in sales on our own website. So, how's it going, y'all? My name is Victor. I own SetSingles and SIRs.com. TCG Player by the same store as well. Link in descriptions. And today we're talking about scams. So, with there being more sellers, more activity, more interest in the TCG hobby, there's also going to come bad people. There's going to be scammers, all these sort of undesirables that generally wouldn't be in the TCG world, but because it's become so profitable and so lucrative and everyone's kind of talking about it, there's just more of them. So I'm going to talk about my experiences with scammers, kind of the first $1,000 scam that someone attempted on my shop, how I kind of picked it out, how I prevented it from happening, and it is definitely part of the reason some of you may have seen that I did stop selling sealed product on the website, or just kind of stopped reordering it. I'm just selling whatever's left and switching to singles. It's kind of a lot easier for my mental health, but I think it's important to kind of share what happened, how it went on, and how to kind of prevent that in the future. So without continuously yapping, I'm going to get into it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy the video, like and subscribe. Let's get into it. If you're selling on eBay, you're not really going to have this issue. eBay gives you, I believe it's like 69-cent shipped envelope tracking under $20. If that is the case and you're on eBay, this first scam doesn't apply to you. Good job, great. But if you're on TCG Player, even though it's owned by the same company, they don't have the tracking for some reason. They don't let you print the little QR code with the tracking and all that. Just, it's shipped and delivered. That's the only confirmation it has, but it's super important. And here's why. What a lot of people will do is, say you're a relatively larger store, obviously you're going to get a ton of new customers, you're going to get a couple reoccurring customers, but what people will do is they'll buy, in Magic especially, they'll buy a couple staples. They'll buy like a Skull Clamp, a Soul Ring, a Lightning Greaves, and those three cards kind of tally up to like 13, 14 bucks. Maybe they'll toss in a couple cards, get it to that $16 to $18 range. And this is where I've noticed it. From the $15 to like $18, $19 range is where it's most prevalent. Because you can't justify putting tracking on it. TCG Player doesn't require it, but it's just high enough that it's kind of worth their time. And what they'll do is they'll just order it. You'll ship it out, you'll package it well, you'll make sure everything's okay, and you'll wait a week, maybe 2 weeks, no contact from the customer, and then suddenly a refund. And they're like, hey, this never arrived. And yeah, stuff happens, okay? I'm not knocking you. Stuff does happen on occasion. It's shipping, USPS, sometimes they may rip the package open or rip the envelope open. Maybe it wasn't packed properly and something got caught on the machine and it just destroyed itself. It does happen. Normally, when something happens, they will return it to you in the envelope to whatever return address you have on the actual envelope. And you'll notice with these sort of scams, maybe with the 30-cent cards, the dollar cards, you will get that return. But from that $14 to $18 range, essentially, you're never going to get that return because they actually got the cards and they're just being dubious. They've got ill intent from the start, and they always intended to buy it, get what they wanted, and then refund it. Obviously, TCG Player does have a few things in place. If you do that, refunds, I don't know what the exact number is, but maybe like 10 times, 5 times, something in that range. TCG Player will start kind of looking into your account. If it keeps happening, they'll kind of cancel your account, they'll suspend you, whatever it may be. So keep that in mind. But the really annoying part is sellers have their own reviews. Anyone who buys can leave a review, but sellers can't leave reviews on buyers. So, even if you click on their name, you try to, make sure it's a real house, it's not a PO box. And even if it is, PO boxes, just people use them. It's not a crime to use them, and they're generally okay to ship to. But that kind of more so applies in the next scam. But essentially, there's nothing you can really do with this scam. If you notice, usually they kind of come in waves, and then tcgplayer will ban their accounts, whatever it may be. What I like to do is, if it's under $5, whatever, benefit of the doubt, there you go, have a good day. I don't block them, I don't do anything. But for the people who buy and, they spend $18 and they get the return request, whatever it may be, that is a huge chunk of my profit just gone for the day, essentially. So what I like to do is just click that little block buyer button. Don't let them buy anything from the store. Don't bother with them. You can kind of do this on your own website. You can just take their address, take their email, phone number, whatever information they give you, put it onto a spreadsheet, and I know Rudy from Alpha Investments does this. Essentially, whenever you get a new order, something that, someone you're not familiar with, you can just run it through that spreadsheet and make sure it doesn't hit any of the addresses, phone numbers, emails, whatever it may be. It is pretty annoying, but if you're selling sealed product or really anything of value, you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. So that is one way you can kind of try and fight it. But there's always new malicious people, and if it happens once, there's no way of preventing it. You never know who has ill intent in their heart. So another thing they do is they'll order, maybe 3 separate orders, all in the same name, and it'll all be, $10, $5, $10. That happens on occasion, just to try and get you to ship that out. If you do notice 2 orders, generally I hold off for like a day or 2 before shipping it, just to see if they'll kind of get another order in. Obviously, for these people, it's really weird because wouldn't you want to contact the seller, see if you can get a refund on the shipping fees because you already have an order? And that is another kind of constant thing that happens. Lack of communication, lack of care for money. I mean, if you could just get a free dollar by sending a 1-minute email, wouldn't you do it? I mean, I do it, that's for sure. I'd do it for 50 cents. I don't care. Maybe I'm being, a little nickel and dimey, but essentially, these people won't communicate with you. They'll put multiple orders. They won't ask for a combined shipping or a refund on shipping for one of the orders. And so what I like to do is I like to hold their orders until the next one, and then package them all together, put tracking on it, and then they're screwed because tracking, it confirms it was delivered, and they can't claim that refund anymore. tcgplayer won't really let them. So that is the good thing. That is another way to kind of counteract these people. But let's get into the big $1,000 scam. So as many of you know, I do have a ton of Pokemon boxes, Pokemon product. This is, Mr. P, Paldea Evolved. I have a ton of Japanese stuff. I used to have even more Japanese stuff. It's kind of back there. But essentially what happened was I use Wix. So it does kind of notify me, new visitor from insert country. So I saw, new visitor from Hong Kong. Cool, whatever. I don't do international shipping. Never have, never will. Once it's out of the country, you're kind of screwed, so I just don't mess with it. My sealed store was US shipping only. Made it pretty clear. Every single listing said, $4.99 for orders under $20. $10 shipping for everything else. No international shipping. Easy. Really simple. Really clean. Succinct. And this person went ahead and placed an order for a ton of English product. I'm talking like 3-4 booster boxes. And they want it sent to a port. That is hint number 1. Ports, companies take stuff in and then they ship it out of the country. If you send something to a port or a PO box, or this one was in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. Who would have thought? There's another hub in Doral in Miami. I happen to live by Miami, so I kind of I could scope out the area. Like I knew what was going on here. But Portland, Oregon is another big one, so keep a lookout for that. And essentially, they would place 2 or 3 separate orders. That was, hint number 2. They didn't request combined shipping. They didn't do anything like that. Either way, sending it to a port, I'm not shipping it. Sorry. I'm not dealing with that. That's international. We don't fuck with that. Hint number 3, obviously, was I can see, the payment attempts in the payment history. And I can see 3 failed payments before these 2 went in. Now, with these people who steal credit cards and try and purchase products and then, essentially launder the money by reselling it later for a slight loss and, cleaning the money, what they'll do is they'll place a large order. So in this case, it was about $800. And then they'll place smaller orders until the card gets blocked because they don't know what the limit is. So this order was $800, and then there was $400, and then it got blocked. So what did I do? Well, I waited a couple days to see if this person with the stolen credit card would realize and then cancel their card, block their card, and then I just refunded them. And I sent a message. I was like, hey, I don't send stuff internationally. I feel like this is a stolen credit card. See ya. The issue is there is a non-refundable 3% transaction fee. It happens. 2.5%, 3%. That's why you'll see, certain merchants if you go to pay at a shop, they'll say, oh, credit card, 3% fee. It's a non-refundable transaction fee, essentially. So on that $1,200, I lost, $32, something like that, $34. And I did nothing wrong. Obviously, I can't complain. Could have been a $1,200 loss, but it really sucks. And the worst part is, Wix doesn't have any way of blocking countries or blocking people from buying, at least not that I know of. So a couple days went by, and lo and behold, wow, another 3 transactions for, this time it was for less. It was for $800 and nothing else. Same email, same name, same everything. So I know it's the same person, but there's nothing I can do. So essentially what I did there is I just didn't ship the item. I haven't issued the refund yet. I have the money sitting in my account, but I'm not issuing the refund until this person contacts me and I see what's going on. Because if I do refund it, I'm losing out on the money, and they're just going to keep buying it and buying it and buying it. I'll just wait until, whenever, and I'll just refund it. I don't care. I'm not dealing with that shit. And even if I did ship the stuff, what they'd likely do is, if it is their own credit card and not a stolen credit card, is they'll just request a refund. They'll say, hey, I didn't authorize this transaction, and as long as they don't do it too often, the credit card will just, no questions asked, just refund it. And then you're out of product, you're out of money, you lost money on shipping costs, you lost money on transaction fees, and it's just a big nothing burger. So, with that being said, those are the few things you can look for. No communication, no requests for combined shipping, no interest in saving any sort of money. Shipping to ports, especially Miami, or Doral, I guess, not really Miami, but Miami, Doral, Portland, some places in California, I believe, but generally Portland and Miami are the 2 main ones. And also, if you run your own website, failed transaction, obviously this person was using a VPN to make it look like they're from somewhere else, but I can see that first they have to look into the website before deciding to target it. So I can see, viewed from Hong Kong, viewed from mainland China, wherever the hell it may be. And I don't fuck with that. So, all in all, essentially I just want to share my experiences, some ways to kind of prevent it, some ways to kind of spot it. Obviously, you can't be safe 100% of the time. Things will happen, and so that's why you do have to account for a couple percentage of theft. People suck sometimes, and it is what it is. Not everyone sucks, so stay positive and do your best. That's all we can really do. So with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. I hope this shed some light for you and kind of explained a few things. Maybe learned something, maybe I saved you some money. That would be great. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I read and respond to every single thing, generally within the day, so check back. maybe I've already responded. But yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day. Here we go. So this clip is for Ryan. He just wanted to quickly know how I pack my orders. So sample, everything's blurred out. We're all good. Cut out a strip of tape, cut it in half, put one here, and then I just like to fold it right along the line. As you can see, there will be a little price right there, a little box. I like to fold it along there. Fold it once more, and you'll get almost exactly to where the cutout is. So you can see that. And then, really simply, just fold it backwards onto itself, and the cutout should line up with the edge of the envelope. Once that happens, you get your trusty number 10 envelope, and you can go ahead and slap it right on in. Boom, like that. Now you do have to be careful, it does get shaken about. So what you do, make sure it's lined up. Get that second piece of tape, pull up the envelope a little bit, put it right around here, close to where the actual card is, and seal her up, and you are good to go. It won't shake, won't do anything. So hopefully that was helpful. Enjoy.